Welcome back, everyone. The video you're about to watch is part of a live stream series that I do on Twitch where I teach people how to build an Android app from start to finish by building a task management application. I've removed the episode numbers from the videos because it's designed that each one can be consumed individually. Each week, I pick a particular topic or feature and focus on just that for the live stream. If you are interested in watching the full playlist, check out the links in the description below. But if you just found this one and it intrigues you, I hope you enjoy it and let me know what you think. I was unmuted and then I muted myself because I didn't realize what state I was in. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Excited to see all of you again. I know it has been 2 weeks because I was out on yet another long trip. Went couple weeks ago, I guess, went to go see my family back in Michigan, and then went to Toronto, Canada for a few days on my way back. Got to visit the Hockey Hall of Fame, which was a ton of fun, and do some hiking and stuff with my dogs. Had incredible food. It was a really great time. Enjoyed the city. Didn't get to see too much of it because we were only there for 3 days, and most of it was spent like hiking. But would love to go back, see more of downtown Toronto sometime. Um, but yeah, with that, let's get back into coding. What everyone comes here for. I'm sure no one really cares about my adventures. Let's talk about coding and what we can learn about today. So, we're gonna start with a cube solve. I don't even know where my cube solve is. Cube is it's over here. All right, let's get that going first. Um, we will go to. It's been a while. Welcome back, everyone. Let's. Okay, cube timer is up. Let's get a prediction going. I will do a practice, uh, of course. So we'll do. Here, let's get the prediction ready, and then we'll do a few warm ups. So I'm gonna set this as a 5 minute timer for the prediction, um, and then that also gives some people time to show up, and we'll do a few warm ups here, um, before we get too much further. Because, yeah, I haven't touched this in 2 weeks either. So I love how I held this up for the camera right after changing the camera because I never know what I'm doing anymore. Um, all right, let's see how this warm up goes. Okay. Um. do, 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 do. Okay. Um. All right. Let's see how this goes. Oh man. Yep. I'm rusty. I'm rusty. Where did that piece go? Oh, I'm very rusty. Wow. Yep. We're still not done. Very rusty today. Okay. Not bad. Not bad for not having touched this thing in over 2 weeks. Um, I feel like I'm flexing that my bad Rubik's Cube time is still like I've always said that like when people meet me and they're like, "Oh, I can solve a Rubik's Cube, but like definitely not as fast." I'm like, it's still impressive. Like just being able to do this thing is like an accomplishment. So I tell people like even if it takes you 5 minutes or 10 minutes, even if it doesn't take you, 30 seconds, like the fact that you can do it is an accomplishment to be proud of. Um, let's see if this one is a little faster. We got a nicer start to this one. Okay, okay, that one was better. Dang, we still have 2 minutes left on our prediction. So we'll do a few more practice rounds before the real one. Um, so enjoy watching these practice rounds if you're using it to try to figure out how fast I will be, because usually these practice rounds are all over the place. Um, let's see, where does this stand right now? What do most of you think? Ooh, a lot of y'all are thinking over today. Ooh. Um, let's try this. Not sure how this is gonna work. The answer is badly. That's how it's gonna work. No, wait, hold on. This is getting a little easier. Ugh, wow, I'm gonna get extremely lucky if that was it. Wow, okay, that was really lucky. That the last layer came together a lot faster than the first two. That could have been lightning fast. Um, all right, 50 seconds. I will do this scramble, and then at the end of these 50 seconds, we will do the real one. So if you have not placed your prediction, um, go ahead and do so on whether you think I'll be over 27 and a half seconds or under. At what age did I start with this? Good question. I was probably around 13 or 14. I learned while I was at a Boy Scout camp. There was a guy in like the cabin that I stayed in who knew how to do it, and I asked him if he could. Yeah, it was like my first year of high school, so I was probably what, like 14. Um, I asked him if he could teach me. So over the week of that scout camp, he taught me. I took down like a bunch of notes and just practiced it. And at that point, it did take me about like 4 minutes. And then I got down to like 2-ish minutes with that, like the way he taught me. But then I knew that I had to learn new strategies and algorithms if I wanted to like get really fast with it. And I think that's where I'm at now. Like I I think I've capped out in this like 20 to 30 second range, and that if I ever want to get like sub 20 seconds, I'm gonna have to like dedicate new time to learn like faster tricks than what I do now. Um, yeah, so knowing that, let's dive into this next one. And this is the one for the prediction. So cool. Um, Ooh, 26.47 personal record on the night. And those of you who had faith in me to go under, uh, which it looks like it switched from where it was earlier. So those of you who had faith in me, you are the winners. So congratulations on all of your channel points. Ooh, that was a good one. That felt good. Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about some coding. So 3 weeks ago, or whenever we were here last, um, we added the ability to reschedule a task. So I could click on this reschedule button down here, and I could change that to be like April 28th, which is tomorrow, and then the task disappears from this screen. And we are having fun. Thank you for coming back, Nevercom. Hope you've been doing well. And now the task is on this screen. So, and we can reschedule it back to today. And the other thing we did last week is we also added input validation, where I could try to reschedule, and I picked a date in the past. This would cause an input error because we should not be allowed to reschedule a task in the past. That doesn't make any sense. So if I hit OK, I will get a little snack bar at the bottom that says, please select a date today or in the future. And something that we talked about but didn't get to look at is the idea of showing an action on a snack bar. So, like, a common thing you might see is like you archive an email or something in Gmail, and then you see like a little snack bar that says, like, email archived, and then an undo button. And so, what I want to look at today is how do we add those little action buttons, deal with their little clicks, and then actually trigger an action based on that. That's what I would like to do. So we could do it. I mean, we could do both. One idea was when the user marks the task as done, give them a little option to undo that. Um, if they reschedule it, we could also have them like have an option to undo that reschedule, um, which might be easier because that at least for me to test the snack bar. So let's start there. Let's start there. So let's. I don't think I ever made an issue for this, so I'm gonna go ahead and make one. Oh yeah, we did. Allow user to undo rescheduling a task. So let's exactly 3 weeks ago when we did this. So let's make a new branch for number 133, and then we'll work on that. So check out the TOA 133 undo reschedule task. Okay, so let's review how the snack bar situation works for what we just did. So let's look at the task list content composable, I think. Bear with me here. Yes. So, okay, so in this chunky composable, which is our task list content screen here, we have um, a snack bar host state, which is just a snack bar host state defined by compose, which keeps track of like whether or not you want to show a snack bar, etc. And then we have this task list snack bar that keeps track of the host state. We want to call back when the snack bar is shown so we can clear it from our view model where this state is managed. We'll go look at that later. Um, but then the message that is shown is here, whatever our view state alert message is. So if we look in here, we can see, okay, if the alert message is not equal to null, we show, um, we get the message, we do this code2scope.launch, and this is where we launch the snack bar. And then if it's dismissed, we call on alert message shown. If an action's performed, we don't do anything. That's what we're going to figure out today. Um, yeah, that's the quick compose overview. Let's talk about where this whole viewState.alert message property comes in that triggers whether or not we show the snack bar. So that's on our view state. It's just a UI text and it's nullable, but we can, let's see where we modify this. Um, uh, Inside our view model. So in our view model, we do this check where when we're trying to reschedule a task, if the new date is before today, we update our view state and we apply an error message. And or alert message rather. And this alert message then is what like the composable will read this and render the snack bar. So a couple things to note here that I would reconsider and want to think about refactoring before we go too much further is right now our alert message is just this string, or rather a UI text, but just like a string representation of the message. If I wanted to have like an alert action, that would be like another property on the view state, and I feel like that might be unnecessary work. So how could we build this a different way? So I'm actually going to go reference the official Android guidelines on UI events because I think they have a good explanation of how we could do this. So they show the idea of handling events that could trigger state updates, like snack bars. This is actually the example they go on to show you. Um, but the way they do it is they create a data class for the message, and it has like a unique ID, and it has the message, which is a string. Let me zoom in a little bit for y'all. Um, oh man, where'd it go? So it has like the ID, it has the message, which is a string, and then their view state actually allows you to have like a list of messages. So you could queue up different snack bars that should show to the user. And I remember last time we had a stream, we talked about skipping the list because it seems unlikely that we would show more than one message, which is still something that I believe to be true. But this idea of having a like user message class seems like it would be a good idea because that would allow me to encapsulate a message with no action and a message with an action and have the UI just consume one thing. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Um, I think it makes sense. Let me know. But so that's what I'm going to do. I am going to um, let's make a new data class. Let's figure out where we want to put this. Um, could we put this in core UI maybe? Um, let's put it here. Um, or I don't even know what to call this. Um, let's put it in core UI. Let's make a class. Let's call it alert message. Okay, this will be a data class. Um, and actually, is there? I think I could just do like random UUID. How did they do it in here? They do most significant bits. Okay, that works. Um, let's track this. So an alert message is some message that renders to the user. I wonder if we want to call this a snack bar message. No, we're not going to tie it to a snack bar. Um, in some alerting fashion. Um, they optionally, this message can contain um, some action button that the user can interact with. So we've got our ID, but this should also include a message, which could be like a UI text. Um, we could have like the action text, which could be nullable, and then we could have like on action clicked, which would be some callback. Hey Matt, thank you for joining us. I'm surprised you're not already gaming. I appreciate you being here on this glorious day of the Overwatch beta. Um, we were just talking about tweaking the snack bar work that we did last time and trying to wrap all that into like an alert message data class that would have the message we want to show. This is non-nullable. Every alert message is going to have a message, but optionally there could be some action text, which could be like undo, and then we could have on action clicked, which is some callback when the user clicks that action button. So now that we have this, let's go back and tweak our view state to support this. So instead of alert message being a UI text, let's make it an alert message entity. Had to come hang, I appreciate it. Um, so now that this is an alert message entity, a few things are going to break. Our view model is going to be broken here because now we'll need to actually create the alert message entity. Now for this one, I don't think we don't need to specify anything else. This is for the date reschedule validation. So there's going to be no. We did consider whether we wanted to add a retry action to this, um, but I decided we're not going to do that. I think last time, but and So that's fine. We'll leave this as is. I think the other thing that needs to change is our content for the snack bar. So we'll change this snack bar to consume an alert message. And the message will actually be alert message dot message. And we can do a little more here, I think. Yes, we can. So let's, right here where we call show snack bar, this is where we pass um, action label. We could do alert message dot action text dot get string. Is this wrong? Oh, because it needs to be. Uh, let's do it here. So here we'll do action label. Um, I just realized I don't know where this. Oh, action performed. So here, when action performed, we want to do alert message dot on action clicked invoke. Yeah, that makes sense, right? I think so. Um, something else I thought about is there's a duration here that is there's stack bar duration dot short. There's also long. Oh, there's also indefinite. Um, I think that we should do the same thing in our alert message because maybe if I have an action, I want it to be like a long duration so a user has time to think about whether or not they want to undo. Um, so, another interesting coding practice situation to consider here. Um, the snack bar duration class exists. So we could do something like this, where we have this be a snack bar duration, and we give it, snack bar duration dot short, for example. We could do this. Something I dislike about this is it's what I hesitated on earlier with the naming convention of it would tightly couple our alert message with the the idea that it's a snack bar and not some other alerting fashion. So what I would do is, even though it seems like extra code and boilerplate, I would define our own duration enum that we have control over, and we can decide what a duration actually means. So we could make this right inside our alert message, and we could do, short, long, indefinite, all the same things. We'll say, this enum defines the various durations that an alert message can be rendered on the screen. And so here we will use our duration right here, and we'll do duration dot short as our default. Um, yeah, so that's what I would do. And then what we could do in the snack bar here is we're gonna have to do a little when statement and be like when alert message dot duration, and then add in all the branches here and how they map to the snack bar duration. So stack bar duration dot short. This one would be long. This one would be indefinite. And we can just pass that in as it is. So now we can support different durations for our own alert messages that this function maps to the information that Compose needs. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this so far. So, what do we want to do to manually test this out? Well, what I would do is um, when we call on task rescheduled, we do the validation, we return. Otherwise, we invoke this use case, and then we call on rescheduling completed, where we set the task to reschedule to null. Actually, where is this used to? Oh, that's it. That's the only place it's used. Okay. Um, then why do I do this? Why did I make that its own? Do I call this from? I'm just checking to see if I call this from somewhere. Oh, yes. Because it had to do with if the user like manually dismissed the date picker, then I needed to make sure that we also marked rescheduling as completed. So that's why this exists, um, which is fine. But then here um, we can post our alert message. So we can do viewState.update, um, copy here. So let's break this down here. So task rescheduled alert message. So this will be an alert message. Um, let's avoid the string resource for the brief moment, just because I want to get to where we could manually try this out. Um, so let's do message will be UI text. Okay, we'll say task rescheduled for oh um that's not actually going to like properly format this. Okay, I want to replace this for like the date that it's rescheduled for, which is fine. Um, our action text can be um, uh, UI text dot string text. We'll put undo, and then our what did I call it? On action clicked. So here we will basically do um, we'll need the original date, and we could do reschedule task use case dot invoke. Ugh, why did I do this? Um, so let me back up at what I was thinking here. So sometimes when you see a snack bar with an undo message, there are two things that can happen. One, you can actually trigger the action, like we are. We're actually rescheduling the task, and when a user clicks undo, then we're reverting that operation. What I've seen some other applications do is try to postpone making the actual operation until the message has disappeared. And then if you hit undo, we just don't do anything. And I feel like that logic is a little more complicated. Um, so what I would do is just what I'm doing now is I'm going to completely revert the change. But the problem is here, original date is milliseconds and not, but I think we made, did we not make? I thought we made date utils. Did I not do it? There's a date utils file. Oh, I have two epoch millis, but not the other way around. Let's do that real quick. Um, so what I was doing there, sorry, just in case y'all are unfamiliar with the project. So on the task, we have the scheduled date in epoch milliseconds, and not as a local date uh, object. And so I need to convert from one to the other because that's what our use case is using. So we're going to make this handy helper that converts like to local date. So we'll do instant dot of epoch milli this dot at zone ID dot system default dot to local date. Nice. So now here we could just do to local date. Okay. So we've got our rescheduled alert message, and then we can post that task rescheduled alert message. So no idea if this will work, but I actually think there's a chance that this does work. So let's find out. Here's to hoping. Also, it's still so bright behind me. It's nice that we're getting into summer and we have more daylight now. Um, writing some maybe we'll write some tests for this too today, but we'll see how this goes. Oh, and if it does work, we will talk about cleaning up that string text. But okay, so I am going to turn up my brightness because I can't see shit, and I'm going to reschedule this first one for tomorrow. Nothing happened. Huh. Okay. That's weird. Why not? Um, the reschedule call did work. I wonder if it's an issue with this, maybe a race condition with this other update. Let's try that. Let's remove that line. Or wait, no, I don't want to remove that entirely. Um, I just want to do one. Uh, just want to do one state update right here. And oh, could it be an issue with like this happening and us not waiting for it to be done? Wonder. I don't think so. Um, let's run this again. Let's see what happens. I can always set up a breakpoint if this doesn't work. Let's see. Okay, reschedule tomorrow. What the heck? Okay, I'm not even hitting this breakpoint. Let us do the good old rebuild project. Maybe something got cached funny. And I wouldn't put it past Android Studio to do something weird like that. Um, the thing I mentioned earlier about the whole this being in milliseconds, um, I should change that. I should just use like the Kotlin X date time, honestly. Um, also, part of it is because we did some multi-module setup, but we didn't quite complete it, or we didn't finish doing all the modules that we talked about, and I regret that as well. Feel like we should have. Did we write custom lin checks? Oh, we did. That was the whole thing. Um, Just thinking about some of the modularization, we need to do another tech debt stream in the future and clean up some of that work. Uh, it would fix some of the pain points that we're definitely feeling now. Um, this rebuild has taken a while. Sorry about all that. Anyone work on anything exciting recently? Or have any cool updates, any exciting Android news? Android 13 beta came out today or yesterday. I think it was today. Um, Android 13 beta 1. So I haven't tried it out yet. I tried out one of the developer previews a while ago. I'm sure when it hits stable, we'll do a fun stream and we'll look at all the new Android 13 goodies. But has anyone had a chance to try it out yet? Come on. Right. So I was thinking about the same thing, that all of this, like sending this state update happens, you know, regardless of this, the actual call to reschedule the task. Um, and that's definitely like a possible race condition, but I don't think that the task not being rescheduled has anything to do with the view state not showing up, unless I'm wrong. And which is plausible from the perspective of if this update call and the one from getting the tests for date, aha, I think it is. I think we just rubber duck debugged into a solution here. So let's talk about, let's try it one more time on this rebuild, but actually we'll talk about something I noticed. So a while ago, we talked about this update call in the view model and why this is important. Because this is, in short, the update call is thread safe. It will check to make sure that another thread wasn't manipulating my view state. And if it was, it will wait, it will like continue trying to update our state um, before it does anything. Now, let's try this again. Um, let's see. Aha, so now it wants to work. But we'll see if the snack bar actually shows up. Hold on. Okay, it did. But I'll tell you what I was thinking, because I wonder if this is still a potential race condition. Um, because when I got up here, so the only thing that that coroutine could potentially be giving us issues for is this stuff right here, which in short is listening to the like oh, I guess this isn't it. This is only when we are oh nope, it is here. So every time new tasks are emitted from our database, we do this get value, for task list result thing. And so it's possible that in this idea here, where we're not calling update, but we're just setting the view state value, is not necessarily thread safe. So if my coroutine triggers the if there's a database emission at the same time I'm trying to send this alert message, because of the way this code works, it's possible they conflict with each other, which may be what we're seeing, or because it worked after a rebuild, maybe there was some code caching issue. But it's entirely possible that this could have been a race condition. So we're going to change this one real quick to update, and then we will call get view state for task list. And we're going to do the same thing here, um, just because I noticed that. Um, and I wonder, we might want to do, there's a lot of other places where we do dot value, but any of these places where we update the view state value, we should probably be using um, the update call. And so I think I'm going to do it for these two. Oops. But we should probably go through and update all the other ones uh, in the code base as well. But I digress. Let's go back to this reschedule talk real quick because now it's working. So we're going to try this testing one. We're going to reschedule this, and I'm going to see the snack bar, and I'm going to click undo, and I'm hoping that it brings the task back into view. Yes! Look at that. The other thing I just remembered, when I created that alert message, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make this one with the undo button. Um, I wanted to make this a long duration, so this would sit there a little longer, so I wouldn't feel rushed to show off this test. So let's try it again. But that was cool. That worked. I don't know if y'all saw that, because I was rushing because I was worried about the snack bar. Um, Maybe, you know what we can do? Just to test this, I'm going to change this to indefinite because this will be great for learning purposes to show y'all um, what was happening here. So, sorry, I know I'm all over the place. Okay, so I'm going to click on this first task. We're going to click reschedule. We're going to change it back to today's date. And we're going to see the snack bar come up that says the task was rescheduled. We have yet to actually put the date information in there, um, but that's all fine and dandy. And when I click undo, the test comes back to today, and it is now rescheduled for the original date. So let's go ahead and commit that. That's a good start. Um, but also, I'm rethinking because to CP's point, we probably only want to do this once the task has actually been rescheduled. So we're going to put that inside the coroutine scope. And maybe we break up this file because or this function, it's kind of long. Let's see if detect yells at us uh, when we try to push this. So what did we do here? Added undo action to reschedule message. Um, we'll also tie this to the GitHub ticket for 133. Wow, that was really cool. I did not expect that to work on the first try. Um, so we do have a. So how would that pattern work be used when you have a delete task use case with a task parameter? Would you want to depend on an insert task use case in order for you to undo it? Um, yeah, I guess you would. Um, and so that is a consideration to make on whether or not you would want to go with the other pattern of just halting on the action. Um, my initial thought was how everyone talks about how social media sites don't actually delete anything; they just toggle a deleted flag, and how well, if it was toggling a deleted flag, that could be like a single use case. Um, But yeah, I guess it would be. If you were really fully committed to removing it from the room database, you would have another thing that is to add it to the room database. Okay, so even though this function's kind of long, it's not breaking our static analysis rules, or it would have prevented the push entirely. Um, so that is actually a great question that you just asked. That I was thinking about for if we added this for um, undoing marking a task as completed. Because we have this mark task as completed use case, um, where we take the task, we mark it as completed, and then we update the repository. And I was thinking, like, would I want, if I were to undo that, um, yeah. Well, so you could still commit the change. It's just, do you do it on the original action, or do you do it when the snack bar disappears after the user chose not to press anything? So, okay, so the latter. You would have like an intermediate source. Okay, that makes sense. Um, so I'm wondering how we could do that in our project. Let's talk about how feasible that would be. Um, and here's why I'm not sure. So the user clicks. So we want to reschedule the task. So the question is, what we're trying to ask ourselves is, can we fake having done this and only do it once we know? Wait, what just happened? Why did this switch back to? Oh, did the IDE run? I don't know what happened. Um, can we fake having done this and only do it once we know the user has chosen not to click the undo action? So this is what we're trying to ask ourselves. And because our um, because the list of tasks we get is based on a database submission, it's where would I pull this intermediate state? And I think I have an idea of how we could do this. We could, on our view state, the same way we track a task to reschedule, like the task we want to reschedule, we could almost have like a similar thing in our view state that is like, what task is in this processing state? And then we could have a helper that, like, instead of pulling all of the incomplete tasks, we could have a function that, like, filters out for all of the incomplete tasks except for this one. I don't know if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, like, we could have, incomplete tasks, uh, like, and this could be like incomplete tasks, or empty, and then we could do like filter, um, you know, where the item is not equal to task to reschedule or something like that. Oh, that's one way we could sort of mock this intermediate state. I wonder if we should do this. Um, the reason I'm hesitating, yeah, yeah, I don't think it requires as much work as we think. Um, the reason I'm hesitating is going back to like, so this task to reschedule, let me just clarify this. So this task to reschedule entity right here, what this means is like, this is used when the date picker is visible, um, so that once we have a date selected, we know which task needs to be rescheduled. So, um, could we look at this a different way? Could we look at this a different way? Um, okay, let's look at this a different way. If you'll indulge me in what we do on these streams sometimes of going down a rabbit hole, I've got a new rabbit hole idea. On our alert message, similar to knowing when an action's clicked, I may want to know, um, you know, um, like on alert, like on dismissed. Like I want to know when Prince. Thank you for coming back. Now you're right, Timmy. It's hard, but I think it would we could be onto something here. I'm gonna track. I want to know when the alert message is dismissed. So that is when I would commit this action of actually recording, like rescheduling a task, right? So let's go into our let's rethink all this right here. I'm gonna comment it out. Let's rethink this. So at this point, at this point, we've done the input validation. If we know that this task is valid to reschedule, we'll do like rescheduled alert message. Actually, maybe I shouldn't delete everything. I just want to clean it up. So this will be our alert message. And if the action is clicked here, do nothing because we haven't actually committed any data. But on dismissed, when this happens, we want to launch a coroutine and say reschedule task, use case.invoke for the task and the new date. Okay, and then we could do view state that update. We could say copy your task to reschedule here is null. And then I guess just to be clear, we'll put alert messages null, even though it should already be cleared out elsewhere. Um, and then we can do view state that update. Um, and then our alert message, or I see that copy, alert message equals task rescheduled alert message. So, okay, let's run this. It's going to kind of work. Um, uh, and then let's talk about what it doesn't do that's going to bother me. Um, well, let's let this run first. And this will get us pretty close to the solution that we're talking about here. Actually, this is a good question: is whether or not. Well, okay. First of all, nothing is calling this on dismissed. Um, so let's go back to our content here. Um, I wonder if this means I can get rid of this. We'll keep that there. Okay, but this also makes sure that we call on dismissed when it is dismissed. Okay, so if I click what we're going to do for this first test, I'm going to hit undo, and I'm going to make sure that the task stays on this screen. So reschedule for tomorrow. Okay. Oh, undo. That was okay. Hold on. Here we want to set our task to reschedule to null so that the dialog doesn't render twice. Um, okay, reschedule tomorrow, undo. It stays on this screen. So let's try this. Let's reschedule for tomorrow, and we don't touch anything. The snack bar doesn't show up. What did I do wrong? Fuck. Um, aha. When the action is clicked, we do still want to do a state update, but here we'll just say, like, we'll clear the alert message. Yeah, that's all that needs to happen. So I think the reason I'm not seeing a state update is because, or why I'm not seeing the alert message come up is because I think it's not being cleared from memory when I click undo. Okay, reschedule for tomorrow. I'm not going to touch anything. My God, how long is a long snack bar? Um, okay, and now it was rescheduled. So it works. The logic does work. Um, and I can hit undo here. That works. Let's try this again. Okay, so this idea does work. The change is not fully committed until the snack bar disappears, which apparently is really long. Um, but so what I would like to fix about this, as is once I select that I do want to reschedule and I see the snack bar, I don't want to continue to see the item in the list for today, right? Because that doesn't give me the idea that it's processing. So something we could do is like what I'm thinking is like we could have like temp messages being, view state like here, we could have like temp messages would be like the incomplete tasks minus um the task we're rescheduling. And then here, our incomplete tasks would be the temp. Why did I call them messages? Temp tasks. Does minus not work? Oh, because it's nullable. So we attempt to remove the task that we're rescheduling from the list. So we get these temporary list of tasks. And so that gets posted to our view state. So that's what we'll render. In the event that we click this undo action, we need to add it back. So we could do like updated messages would be like plus task. And then, why did I say messages again? This is really screwing with me. We add it back. Now, I don't think this is great because I'm pretty sure this will lose the sorting order that we previously had. But let's ignore that for now. And let's see how this goes. Also, holy shit, Prince, 12 months in a row. Happy 1 year of being a subscriber. Okay, so we're going to reschedule for tomorrow. The task should disappear. Beautiful. I hit undo and it comes back. But no actual database operation was made there because what we saw rendered was this temporary list of tasks right here. So, to show what I was concerned about with this like example here, if I reschedule this one and then I undo, it gets added at the bottom. But personally, I don't think that's the worst UX. I get that I lost the original sort order, but I guess I don't think that's the worst UX. Like, because these aren't inherently sorted. These are my things that I need to do today in no order. So I feel good about this actually. Let's go with this approach. Um, so we're going to say holding off from submitting data until Snackbar is dismissed. I like it. That was really good. Thank you for encouraging me to go down that rabbit hole. I think that was a good rabbit hole for us to go down. Um, so what else? I want to clean up these and use like string resources here. Um, I'm not going to do the date formatting because I think that's a little more complex than I want it to be. Um, but we can at least use string resources to prepare for like internationalization if we ever need to. So here we'll say undo, um, and here we'll say task rescheduled. And so we'll change these to be resource text. This will be r.string.undo. This will be resource text. This one will be r.string.task rescheduled. And boom. Let's also update our stream history file. Uh, Got to catch up on YouTube. I did this stream. I'm a little caught up on YouTube, but I do have to do the stream 25 still. So stream 26 will say undo rescheduling tasks. Here's undo rescheduling. YouTube soon. Let's put this in the list at the top as well, real quick. Chronological order one. Nice. So stream 26, undo rescheduling tasks. We'll also put this one under the task list stream. Oh, this one also needs. Oops. Um, let's also do this one. Okay. So holding off from submitting data until Snackbar is dismissed. I like it. And I will get the pull request going for this. Um, Undo rescheduling path via snackbar action. We'll say fixes number 133, enhancement, create pull request. Um, kind of tempted to run my UI tests locally, uh, just to make sure those aren't broken. And I know this will take a while for actions to run them, so why don't we give those a shot? Hey Dota, thanks for coming by. I'm doing well. How are you doing? We just got done working on some snack bar stuff in Compose. Let me show you what we did. We made it so we can reschedule a task. You're free of your old job. That's exciting. Sorry, let me finish that. We made it so you can reschedule a task and you can undo that action if you want. Temporarily ultra happy. I get that. I get that. I am also, yeah, I get that. I get that. Um, Hopefully, you can figure out what's next so you can be permanently ultra happy. Um, I think that I assume that you meant temporarily because you don't know what's next, but hopefully you can figure that out soon. And I hope that you can be ultra happy. Yeah, good luck in the search. Are you an or I don't like to make this assumption, so I don't know if you are an Android developer or what line of work you're in. Hopefully, you won't have too much trouble uh, in whatever situation you're in. Um, haven't done much mobile. I wish I could say the same. I was going to, but I think my screen would be ratting me out. Web dev, nice. Ooh, are you one of the folks who has ended up here from CM Griffin's streams? I think he might be, now that you mentioned that. Um, because I know he does some web dev stuff, or I know he's also done some React Native mobile stuff on his streams recently. You're a mod on that channel. Okay, as soon as you mentioned web dev, I realized I recognized your name looked familiar from some other Twitch interaction. Cool. I mean, I think most of the software space, it's weird. I know we talk about like tech is like people say it's gonna bubble, but like it's gonna burst. But tech's still a very in demand industry, and there are a lot of opportunities. Which like the data will show that, but it doesn't mean that it's not nerve wracking to be without a job and to have to interview and stuff. So um, I have faith that you will be okay. I also understand that it will probably not be easy. Let us know if we can help in any way. Feel free to like reach out to me, like through a whisper or something if you need anything. I'd love to help in any way that I can. Um, cool. Our UI tests did pass. Um, it would be right of us to write some tests. Oh God. To write some tests for this snack bar situation, but feels like that's a lot of logic. Um, Feels like a lot of maybe not. It feels like it would be complicated, but it feels like it would be complicated because um, of the snack bar. And like, it's one thing to write a UI test to say, like, hey, I want to make sure this snack bar showed up. But then, like, how do I know in my UI test to, like, wait for the snack bar to be gone? Um, Maybe there's tooling around that. I don't know. I'm also not sure I want to look it up tonight, honestly. Um, Greetings from Mexico. Welcome. Welcome, Duva. Thank you for coming by. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the stream. You were considering writing a mobile app for Spotify for Discover Weekly. Want to automate making those regularly? Yeah, interesting. Um, I think, I mean, you can look at mobile in different ways, right? Like, I think that in my experience as a native app developer, a lot of companies like neglect mobile web. They think that like the mobile experience is best on a native mobile application. And I think there are situations where that can be true, but I'll be the first one to say as a mobile engineer that it's not always true. Like you can still build like a great mobile web experience using JavaScript, HTML, and CSS just like you would on a desktop and still create a great mobile experience. If you don't need some of the mobile specific features, like maybe you're worried about like persistent storage or you're dealing with like device sensors or something like that, like you can build a great like mobile experience with your web dev knowledge, I think. I don't want that to be lost on people. I think that, like, again, I know I'm probably biased as a mobile engineer working in Android, but I don't, I think that it can be fine. Like, right, exactly. And I mean, maybe sometimes it's users want to have like an app, but at the same time, um, you could argue that a web experience is better for lower end devices that don't have a lot of storage, where not everything needs to be a mobile app. You know, like one I thought of because I used to think about this that I never use the Chrome browser on my phone, which is pretty true. But you know what website has made me use the Chrome browser every single day? Wordle. And like Wordle didn't need to be a native app. Like it really didn't. It's a great mobile like mobile web experience that like it's fine. Like like not everything needs to be an app. Like it doesn't. Um, Prince is laughing, but tell me I'm wrong. Okay, listen. I should try Duolingo on mobile web. Because then maybe they'd stop sending me push notifications threatening my family. Uh, uh, Shit, I don't think I've done mine today. So speaking of threatening my family, I should take care of that when we're done streaming. Um, Cool. So the pipeline should pass. Um, why don't we? It's still a little early. I don't want to cut the stream yet. Why don't we do this same logic for marking a task as complete? Um, the same general principle of we will pretend the task is complete. We will show a snack bar saying task accomplished. You can have an undo button that will put the task back where it was. So let's do that. And I think that we made an issue for that. Yes. Why do I keep calling these messages? I did it on the issue last week too. What the hell is going on? Okay, 134. TOA 134 undo complete task. Okay. So, um the cool thing is, none of the UI work needs to change here. This is all going to be in our view model. Um, I am going to copy this code and we're going to steal the same idea here. So, so on done button clicked, we call mark task as complete use case. Um, so let's change all that. Let's let's change all this. So we're going to do task completed. I'm going to call it accomplished. I like that word. Task accomplished alert message. Um, we'll add a new title here. Uh, task accomplished. And action text will be undo when the action is clicked. So here, right, okay, so if I'm hitting undo, we're going to add this to, so incomplete tasks. But in this case, so what we're going to do is when the snack bar, when the alert message is originally rendered, we're going to move the task into the completed state. And then, so if the user clicks the undo button, we need to add it in the incomplete state, but then also remove it from the completed state. So then there would be completed tasks minus this task. And that's what that would be. When we dismiss, we will mark the task as complete. Um, we will assume the list is already updated. So task to reschedule, this is already going to be null here. And then our alert message gets cleared out. So here, so incomplete tasks to use will be without this task, and then completed tasks to use will be plus task. And we'll also add completed task to use, completed tasks equals. Okay, and this is when the done button is clicked for a task. And then we'll call update, we'll use our temporary task list and this alert message, and that might be it. Let's try this out. I'm going to slide this off screen for one moment. Sorry, I need to check a message. Oh, okay. Also, for anyone watching, I don't always make these plugs, but today I'm going to because we are at 746 Twitch followers. So if there are four of you who are lurking who want to get us to a nice round 750, that would be a fun milestone. You don't have to. All of my content is free and available to everyone. You don't have to follow or subscribe, but it is always appreciated. Hopefully this build will be running soon. I feel like we could also use some documentation here to explain what we did in case anyone's going to look at this. So when the done button is clicked, we will render an alert message that states a task has been accomplished, but it provides an undo button to revert this action. We show a temporary state that indicates the task is done, but we don't actually commit anything to the mark task as complete use case until the message is dismissed. And I'm going to take that exact comment and put it in this on task rescheduled. So we'll say when a task is rescheduled, We will render an alert message that states a task has been rescheduled, but it provides an undo button to revert this action. We show a temporary state that indicates the task is gone, is rescheduled, but we don't actually commit anything to the reschedule task use case until the message is dismissed. So you got some documentation there. Okay, so let's try this done. We mark as done. It moves into a new list. I hit undo, and it goes back up. Great. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to wait. I also just caught this. Um, the buttons are still there because the task is not actually shown as complete. Um, so we should fix that. Um, Let me show you this again. So when I mark it as done, it goes to the bottom, but the buttons are still there. And the reason for that is because we only show the buttons if the task is incomplete. So it's almost like um, task as complete would be like task.copy completed equals true. Um, and then here we would do task as complete is what would get added here. So that would be fine, but now I'm worried about the undo because when I add it back, it would be like, oh, well, here I guess it's fine because I'm still referencing the original. But we could do something like task as incomplete, being, completed equals false, and then here we add task as incomplete. That should swap it around between these two lists in a more correct fashion. Um, let's see how our pull request is doing. It failed. Gasp. Huh. Oh, a unit test failed. We can fix it. Um, it's not because of no tests. It's actually because of tests, and the old tests are broken. Um, okay, marking this as done. Now we can see there are no buttons. I undo, and it crashed. Oh yeah, I haven't had a crash in a while. Um, okay, let's. Oh, aha! It's this. So this minus isn't going to work because we added it. It's because it's doing an exact comparison of the two entities. So when I try to remove this task from the completed section, it doesn't work. Um, because in the completed list, it's the same thing. It's actually the task as complete is what's in this list. Um, so we want to add our original task and remove this mock completed task is what's happening here. So this would fix it. I'm just trying to think if there's a version of this that I like a little better. Um, which honestly I might just go with this. It's a little feels a little hacky at this point, but well, let's try this out just to make sure it works. While we're doing this, I'm gonna update this real quick. Do task completion. Okay, mark is done. No buttons. Undo. It comes back. Check. Mate. Okay, so allowing user to undo marking a task as complete. Okay, so we're gonna push this. I'm gonna make a. I'm not gonna make a pull request yet. No, I'm gonna make a pull request, so I don't lose it, and then we will um, go fix the other branch real quick. Undo marking task as complete. We'll say this fixes number 134. Enhancement. Okay, let's check out the last one. And let's run a test and see which one failed again. I'm pretty sure that the failure is because we changed our view state to, instead of showing a UI text, to actually be this alert message entity. And so our tests need to do the same. Um, so let's just run this. I'll let the compiler tell me which one failed, and then we can correct it. Cheers. Now I will hydrate. I only brought one intoxicate, so now we can hydrate. And another one for Prince. Yep, right here. Okay. So this is the scheduled date and past issue. So let's change this to be an alert message. The message should be that. That might be enough to fix the test. Let's find out. I am curious if this will, if we added enough in the Snackbar code to decrease our coverage, in which case I will need to write some tests for what we did today, but I feel like that could be its own stream. Uh, we'll see how this goes. Um, aha. Okay. So now it failed because it expected our incomplete tasks to be this list of the incomplete task. But because, oh, what? Oh, it's this one. Hold on. Huh, this one's missing the test annotation, so that's not even being run. That's a fun catch. This one's failing? Hold on. Sorry, let me run this again. So we have this incomplete task. We mock for today's date. We give this task, build the view model. We reschedule the button. We expect and after clicking the reschedule button, we're asserting the view state. We expect to still see list of incomplete tasks, but we don't see it. It's saying it's empty. Oh wait, no, here, hold on. It's happening further down. It's when we call assert task rescheduled for date. Ah, okay. So here's how we broke our test. Well, another way we broke our test. So we call this on task rescheduled, and all that does is post out an alert message. It no longer actually does the rescheduling. So what we should so um wow, okay. So what we should really be doing here is we should assert view state. Uh we want to have a new view state here. And we want to say show loading would be false. Incomplete tasks here, we would actually expect it to be an empty list. Um, completed tasks would also be an empty list. The path to reschedule would be null, but then we'd have an alert message. The message would be um, task rescheduled. This is gonna get interesting because okay, hold on. Then we could say action text would be I don't know, string to undo. We're not gonna put the click listeners in here because we don't care. So we want to assert this view state comes out. Now what we lose from this test is this test is now actually going to be reschedule task triggers alert message. But it's not going to test that the alert message actually does anything. At least not yet. We could probably make that. Let's write this test to just verify that like we actually see an alert message. Now I'm pretty sure this will fail um, because the alert message the view model creates is a little different because of the click listeners and other lambdas that are associated with it. Um, so if that ends up being the case, what I'm going to do is go into our alert message class and override the equals method so that the alert message maybe only compares like the text values or something. I think this is broken because it's not. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, yep, so we get this weird comparison because data classes have trouble comparing um, like lambda objects because they don't override the equals method. So why don't we, I'm pretty sure even though it's a data class, I can still override equals. Also, let's get the phone out of here right now because we're not doing any more of that. Um, uh, how does the IDE do it? There generate equals? Is not. I thought there was. Um, have I used Keycloak or similar solutions? I have not used it. I don't know what that is. So I can't really provide any alternatives. So let's do return other is alert message and other dot message equals this dot message and other dot action text equals this dot action text, and we'll do the duration as well. Oh, identity providers do authentication. No, I haven't really done a whole lot of authentication stuff myself. I'm sorry. Um, we'll also generate a hash code. Okay, so now let's run our test again, which should be able to compare the alert message properly. Um, and then actually, okay, hold on. After this runs, I have another idea. But let's wait for this test to run as it is real quick. All right, come on. You can do it, Android Studio. I know you can do it. You just take your time. I don't know how we do this. Just so much waiting. Okay, hold on. Expected, blah, 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 but was. Oh, well, one thing is the duration is indeed wrong. We are expecting the duration to be long. The other thing is that we had this assert task rescheduled for date. Um, let's come back to that in a second. Let's get this part. Let's get this part working. So hopefully this one works. Okay, so that works. We verified that when we click the reschedule button, we see the alert message we want. So what was failing earlier as well is we had this assert task rescheduled for date. And we had like our task and new, what is it? Um, the task would be the incomplete task that we had, and then the Date being tomorrow, right? Is that not what we did? Oh, yesterday. Um, wait, hold on. I'm in the wrong class. Hold on. Sorry, that's my fault. Okay, this one. Reschedule task triggers alert message. So what this test had before too is we wanted to assert task rescheduled for date, uh, the incomplete task, and then the date being tomorrow. If I add this line back in, this test is going to fail. And the reason it's going to fail is because it will check our fake use case. It will try to assert that a call was made to reschedule the task, and that call will have never been made. And that's because effectively what has happened, even though this is a unit test and nothing is rendered, but effectively what's happening is we're posting the alert message that shows a task has been rescheduled. But remember, we don't commit that action until the message has been dismissed, right? So that's why we have this, assert invocation on the fake rescheduled task use case failed. Um, so what we can do, let's put something in our robot and let's say, dismiss alert message is what we'll call this function. And let's go ahead and go into our test robot and add that. So we call this dismiss alert message. And what we can do is we can do view model dot view state dot value dot alert message, and then we can do on dismiss dot invoke. And this is all nullable, but we can assume that there was an alert message and call dismissed, and then we can in our test verify that something happened after we did that. At least that's the expectation I'm setting here. So if I am right, which is, 23% of the time, arbitrary number, this test will pass. Let's hope for the best. And then we'll push this. We will fix the other branch as well. Or we'll see. Nice, it passed. So let's go ahead and put up fixing unit tests, and let's have this run. Um, I think I might call it do a little bit of a shorter stream tonight. Um, I may or may not be doing some more streams in the future. I know I always say that, but this time I might actually be able to do some daytime streams because y'all are the first to publicly find out. I am going to be on uh, fun employment for the month of May. Um, I am moving on from Capsule and I'm taking the month of May off to just chill. And so maybe do a couple more streams in May before starting on to the next thing. So, okay, we push that. I will keep an eye on these. Chances are any tweaks I make off stream are just going to be fixing those tests, but I'm not going to add any new features. So, all of you watching this, you were able to see all the fun stuff. So, I will get those PRs merged and try to get this up on YouTube soon. Again, apologize to all the people watching on YouTube for the delays. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. Let me switch over to webcam real quick and let's see if we can find someone we can go raid. Um, let's see. It's a little early. I don't know if like Lando is live yet. I don't think he is. He is not. Um, and we could go raid. Let's see what they're doing. Hold on. There is another software and game dev streamer I found recently, uh, Metal and Coffee. I think they also do some gaming streams and stuff too, but looks like they are doing I don't know, looks like they're possibly doing some web dev stuff right now. So hang out, let's go check out another coding streamer and show them some support.